guys, it's Drew Jones with Where's the Buzz, and I am here with the beautiful Andrea Bordeaux from Run the World. She plays Ella McFair, and I'm not gonna lie, I love this show, so thank you so much for joining me today.
Having me, and also thank you so much for watching me make the show for you. So
this is like, it's so exciting because this is really our generation's like living single girlfriends. You know, we got Insecure, but what's so cool about this show is it's not even it's obviously young Black professionals going through life, but it's so different from what Insecure or Girlfriends or anything before has given us. So kind of talk about the show a little bit, talk about your character.
So, I mean, the show, kind of like what you just said, it's about four Black women who live in Harlem, New York, and it really just goes through like their own individual lives, through relationships and career and family, but also, you know, the main focus is really just their friendship and how their friendship and the glue that they have holding them together really sort of, you know, like really how their friendship is the glue that is holding their lives together, rather. They really are supports for each other. And it just really speaks to the importance of a female friendship and how important that is in not only living your life, but seeing yourself and having people that are reflecting back to you, you know, your best self.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And one of the reasons I'm enjoying this show so much is because there's really honest conversation going on. Like there's stuff that I'm watching and I'm like, ooh, just had this combo with my homegirl. But what I love about your character is kind of her process, you know, with her career. So can you, if for people who haven't seen the show before, can you tell them a little bit about Ella and kind of what she's going through?
Absolutely. So I play Ella McFair, who is a writer. And where she's at right now, especially when the show begins in episode 1, is that, you know, she's had a major career setback. You know, she was working for like a celebrity gossip website, and she quit her job to put out a book, and her book, you know, absolutely tanked. It was panned by critics. It did really poorly. And so she just she had like a really major failure, and she had to humble herself and return back to her roots at Hot Tea Digest. And on top of that, you know, she had, you know, gone through a really horrible breakup a couple years back and was still feeling very heartbroken over that. And then we see her ex kind of pop up into her life to add more confusion to her. So she's just really cynical. She's a little bit disillusioned. She's heartbroken. She is confused. She doesn't understand why her life isn't going the way that she thought it would. She doesn't understand why she's now well into her 30s and not having the kind of success that she had envisioned for herself. But she's just questioning everything right now.
For sure. I saw that you do a few scenes with Andrea Alexander, and I have to ask, what was that like? And did she give you any advice about leading a show like this?
You know, Erica is just unbelievable. I don't think people understand how funny this woman is because, and I did an IG takeover for Run the World about a week and a half ago, and I was telling people that, you know, what you guys are seeing is the take that was chosen. You're seeing like the final cut. You're not getting to see the dozens and dozens of takes that are just, they're all so brilliant. This woman, she never misses. She never misses. She's so funny. And she as a person outside of being an actor, she's just so generous and loving and supportive. She's funny. She's very thoughtful. She's extremely smart. And, you know, I just have enjoyed working with her and learning from her. And just, I really don't have to do anything when I'm on set because she's such an icon. She's a giant, and she just always brings the funny. So all I have to do really is just respond to whatever it is that she does. I adore her.
What character out of the 4 leads do you feel like resonates with you the most in your own journey as a young Black professional?
I would say Ella definitely resonates with me the most. It's so beautiful because all of the actresses on the show, like we all really identify with our characters. And I think it was just great casting in that sense. You know, I can certainly relate to Ella her disillusionment and having a major career setback, which is something I've experienced as an actor, where, you know, I was on a show that I thought was going to like carry me forward, and then I ended up only doing one season, and then I didn't work for 2 years, and it was really confusing for me because I thought, oh, this is the thing, and it not only didn't work out, but it was a really difficult experience for me. But the beauty of it, and what I think we're going to get to see with Ella, is that the journey of working through that discomfort and that failure is how you really achieve success. Like, one failure doesn't mean the end of your life. It just means that you need to redirect your path so that you can get, you know, in better alignment with what's actually right for you. And that's something that I've gotten to move through in my personal life. And I'm so excited to kind of relive that journey through Ella's experience. And if I could relate to any other character, I would say I'm most like, other than Ella, Sandy. I love Sandy. I'm such an intellectual. I'm very much that friend who's always like dropping stats and knowledge and talking about the things that are going on in the world and current events. And I'm also very much the mirror that will kind of look at you and be like, listen, this is what you're doing. This is who you're being. This is not cute. Let's get it together because you're so much better than this. And I love that about Sandy.
She's definitely, she's something. There's a lot of stuff that she says, and I'm like, I feel like she's personally yelling at me. I'm getting called out.
The one that gets you in check.
Yeah. When you were reading the script, was there any advice, you know, because you guys kind of have a lot of moments where you're just having girl talk and you're going back and forth. Was there any point in the script that you read it and there was just a truth that resonated with you that you were like, oh, I need this for me? Like, yes, Ella's a great character, but I need this to you know, apply to my real life.
I'm trying to think back to, so the pilot episode, you know, I really think that first scene with Ella and Barb was a really great scene. And it really touched me because, you know, Barb, you know, essentially what she says is, there's this great line. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, or maybe I'll get it on the money. We'll see. But she basically says, you know, can you be as committed to gratitude as you are to self-pity? And to me, that is everything, because what I've learned on my journey is that no matter how difficult your life is, no matter what you're going through, you have to go back to gratitude. You have to be grateful for what you have and where you're at in that moment, because you're never going to be able to call in and manifest anything if you're not rooted in gratitude. That's just universal law. And so ever since I learned to really just pull myself back into a place of gratitude, everything just really falls into place for me. And I think that that's great advice for just all people, but especially for women and Black women.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I got the chance to listen to the interview you did on the Inside Out podcast, and there's just a lot of really, really good stuff that you talked about. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your experience with healing your inner child, and kind of explain a little bit of like how you came to that point, and you know where you are in that.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for listening to that. That my friend Yamoria Wright, she's the creator of that podcast, and she's just such a beautiful, brilliant human being. And she's also a beautiful creator. She has a show on Amazon Prime called Love My Roomie. So check that out. Big plug for my girl Yamoria. But yeah, the inner child work was absolutely instrumental for me in healing, because what I learned on my journey when I started working with, you know, life coaches and getting into meditation was that, you know, so much of what we have as needs as children don't get met by our parents. And it's not because our parents are terrible people. It's just because our parents can only model to us what they've been taught themselves. And so when they can't meet certain needs, we develop all of these defense mechanisms that we carry into adulthood that don't really serve us, because you're operating from a place of a wounded child as opposed to a very conscious and present adult. And so healing your inner child is all about going inward and talking to that young version of yourself who wasn't getting what she or he needed, and reparenting them and comforting them and letting them know that they don't have to fight for that need to be met, because you're going to meet that need for them. And the more you deepen that relationship with your inner child, the less that you become reactionary, and you get to just stay present in the moment and conscious, and you're coming from a place of your higher self as opposed to your lower self or your wounded inner child. So I could talk about this for hours because it changed my life. And everyone I know that has done this work is so grounded and peaceful and happy. And they just emit such a vibrant aura because they're actually living in alignment with themselves and not coming from a place of subconscious wounding, which is what I think most people in the world are operating from right now, which is why the world is so effed up.
I think in the past like 2 years, the topic of mental health, especially within the Black community, has been something that's really been pushed to the forefront. What for you was the moment that you realized that was something you wanted to take charge of, something you wanted to explore in your own life? And how did that reflect in your professional life?
So I can remember that moment very clearly. I was sitting with my oldest sister. She had come to LA to visit, and I had been off of NCIS LA for a few months, and I was in a really deep depression. I had lost a lot of weight and was just angry. I was lashing out at my friends. I was lashing out at my boyfriend at the time. I was a bitch, period. And I was telling her about some of the experiences that I had had, and she just kind of was just like, as only a sister can do. And she was just like, well, what role did you play? Mm. And I was just like, what do you mean? What role did I play? Like, I'm the victim here, you know? But then when the truth hits you, even if you deny it, it's already there. The seed has been planted. And I remember I cried because I realized in that moment, wait a second, I didn't do the best that I could have done. Like, I could have handled this situation and these circumstances differently. And I have to get to the root of why I felt like this was the best thing for me to do. And that was really what put me on the journey, was really taking responsibility and realizing that the experience that I had was because I manifested that. And I've carried that lesson through over the last couple of years, where I take responsibility for every interaction. If something goes bad, I ask myself, what is this teaching me? It's not because this person is, a jerk, or, I have bad luck. It's because I'm supposed to learn something from this interaction. And so by getting on that journey of self-responsibility and really, taking accountability for what I'm creating for myself and healing that, I was actually able to manifest this job. Like, I would not have gotten the opportunity for Run the World had I not done the healing work that I've done over the last few years, even just in terms of me being more open to other types of auditions. Because there was an audition that I had with Kim Coleman, who cast our show, that I would have normally said no to before because of all of my judgments about that particular program. But because I was healing and I was opening my heart chakra to, have different experiences, I had a great audition. I didn't get the role, but then she immediately sent me straight to producers for Run the World. And that wouldn't have happened had I not opened myself up to that. And so my healing journey is directly responsible for why I'm even here talking to you right now.
I love that. That's really powerful. And I think that's something that everyone can apply on whatever, field or journey that they're on. I love these characters because you can tell that they're by us, for us. They feel real. They're, 4D people. And there's not, I think it's always very noticeable when you read a script or when you're watching a show and you can go, this is written by someone who thinks they know Black women. And then you can go, okay, Black women had hands in this because the lingo's right, the styles are right, the woes are, relatable. What is there any genre or any role that you have kind of dreamed up that we typically don't get to see Black actresses in that you would love to kind of dive into?
I mean, I've always loved action films. I like two of my favorite actresses, who I think have had the most complex and well-rounded careers off the top of my head, are Angelina Jolie and Zoe Saldana, just in terms of the variety of the kind of work that they've gotten to do. Like, they've gotten to do a lot of the dramatic stuff. They've done like the romantic, like sexy female leads, and then they've done like incredible action roles. And, I would love to see, I feel like my dream role would be to play Storm. I feel like Storm needs her own film. We've gotten, we've gotten her as like a supporting character in all of the X-Men movies. And of course, the other women that have played her have done beautiful jobs with her. But she needs her own movie, and she needs
more melanin.
Like, like no shade, but she needs some melanin because that's how she was originally envisioned. And I think that's what a lot of Black women, and especially young Black girls, would really, really love to see, is to see Storm in the way that, the comic book versions of her that we haven't gotten to see in live action. So if I could like think of anything, it would be to play Storm.
Wow, I'm starting the campaign right now.
Let's go.
It's so hard. You kind of just touched on it, but I think something that's really beautiful about your all show too is the diversity of the four of you, different complexions, different body types, different stories, and the fact that your characters are able to explore so many emotions without being, and as a viewer, we get to watch Black women explore so many more emotions without getting penalized as the angry Black woman, without getting penalized as, being too loud or too opinionated. When you guys were filming this, were you guys able kind of to voice your opinion about how different scenes played out, to be like, this is actually how, like, if I was going through this is how I would want to react to it, rather than something that's like super held back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like the way that the characters are written, they really honor the reality that Black women aren't a monolith. And so I felt like, we didn't we always had opportunity to say, like this, like for instance, some of the ways in which Ella speaks aren't really natural to me, just some of the cadence, because so much of it is Ella's very heavily based on Lee. And so there would be certain moments where I'd be like, I don't know if I would say it exactly like this. And she'd be like, okay, well, how would you say it? I'm like, just do it however you're going to say it. Like, there was never really like pushback when it comes to those things. And I really love how, kind of like you just touched on, there really was we weren't being bogged down by the idea of like these stereotypes or these tropes. We just get to be. And one of the things that I love to say, to Black women is that you're a Black woman. So any experience that you're having is a Black female experience, period. Like, there's no one way to be a Black woman. So however it is, if you talk really preppy and like high pitch, that's how a Black woman talks. If you have a little bit more of a twang, that's how a Black woman talks. If you roll your neck, that's what a Black woman does. If you're prim and proper, that's what a Black woman does. And so I think that more than anything, we as Black women, I would encourage us to take these limited beliefs off of us that, make us feel like, well, this is what a Black woman is supposed to do, or this is how a Black woman behaves or acts, because you're Black. So whatever you're doing is a Black female experience, period, in my opinion.
Period. You guys have done an amazing job at making the on-screen relationships look authentic. It goes so much deeper than acting. It feels like it really is a sisterhood. How did you guys connect outside of the show to make that happen?
Honestly, it was immediate. I had a chemistry read with all of the women, because the first two people cast on the show were Amber and Brescia, and then Corbin was cast, and then I was the last one. So when they were casting my role, all of those women had already been locked in for their roles. And so when I walked in the room, I was there with I think there were like 3 or 4 other women also auditioning for Ella, and I can't really explain it, but when I walked in that room and we did the scene from episode 2, the final, I don't know how far, I don't know if I want to spoil anything, but it's the final scene in episode 2 is what we auditioned with. And we all were just sitting together in our chairs. And I remember I curled up my legs and we just got comfortable and we played around. And then after we were done, we all left at the same time, and we like walked each other to our cars, and we were complimenting each other's outfits. And we really didn't have to do anything outside of the show because the chemistry was already there. Yvette Lee Bowser, our showrunner, she talks about how they captured lightning in a bottle. And it's so true because, when I walked in, I think we all felt it. We all knew that this was the dynamic that the show needed. And that's really what you guys are seeing on screen. Like, it wasn't cultivated. It was kismet. It was divine.
It's definitely something that is received wholeheartedly.
And I love those women. Like we have a great relationship. Like everything you see on screen, that's how we are. We have the best time together. Like they're so amazing.
I love that. That I think like that's something as a fan you want to hear, is that the relationships that you love to see on TV, that in real life those people are really, building those bonds. So that's amazing. Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you, if you're ready. They're nothing too crazy. I think just a couple. So are you team Issa or team Molly?
Issa.
Okay. Girlfriends are living single?
Living single. Maxine Shaw, attorney at law all day.
Listen, I wanted to be her as a kid. I loved her. Summer anthem. What do you think your summer anthem is going to be for 2021?
Okay, this is going to be bad because I don't listen to a lot of like popular music. I listen to like high frequency meditation music and instrumentals, and I love house music. So yeah, house music. That'll be my summer anthem.
For it. What's the first pre-pandemic thing you would like to bring back once everything's in the clear and we can fully be outside again?
I really miss going to festivals. Like I love things like Lightning in a Bottle, Burning Man. If I could go to Burning Man tomorrow, I'd be there in a second. So that would be the one thing I would love to do again.
And what's a pre-pandemic thing you never want to come back? Like you're like, it's okay if it stays in 2020 and never has to come back.
I think working yourself to death. There's no reason for that. We weren't born to be workhorses. We were born to be creative and to live, very simple, easy lives. I leave that, please.
And lastly, who's your dream scene partner?
Oh my goodness. Who's my dream scene partner? I don't even know. Grace Jones. She just popped into my head for some reason. Grace Jones. I think
that's a good one. Okay, so I wanted to, before I let you go, there is this Twitter account called Six Brown Chicks, and every week they do an advice time, and the submissions are typically pretty ridiculous, but since it seems like Ella is great at giving advice and you seem to be great at giving advice as well, I wanted to read a couple to you and just give your opinion. So the first one is, I left a very stable relationship to be with my boyfriend. He said I was a low value woman who can't be trusted because I cheated on my ex with him. I left someone to be with him. Now he says he's looking for a good woman, not a good time. What do I do?
Well, you gotta take the L and let him go, honestly, because he doesn't value you. Like you obviously made a mistake by cheating on your former partner. That just wasn't kind. But everything happens for a reason, and you're getting to see the true colors in this person. So it's actually a great opportunity for you to grow by letting them go and really working on yourself and healing yourself.
And I have one more for you. This one definitely is ridiculous. Medication reaction left me hospitalized for a month. No visits from my wife, who listed our home on Zillow behind my back. Wife says, you may die. I don't want to be stuck without a cash payout. My girlfriend ghosted me after I got sick. Which relationship to fix?
Which relationship to fix? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Throw them both. But if you want to be more practical, it's cheaper to keep her. You're already married. You're already legally bound to one. So
I love that. It's cheaper to keep her. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. Where can people find you on social media if they want to keep up with you?
They can find me mostly on Instagram. I don't really tweet. I do live tweeting on Sundays for the show, and my @ is Andrea_Bordeaux. And on Instagram, I'm Andrea Bordeaux.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on with me. I love the show. Congratulations again on all of the success.
So much. Thank you for having me. This was such a good time. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for watching or listening to the Inside Out podcast. That means a lot.
Of course, it was so good.
Where's the buzz?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the buzz? You said
We used to be
was
ashamed,
mine,
bro.
oh,
Oh,
mine.
where is the buzz?
Ooh.